Hello Reddit. What was your school's huge scandal? 5 or so guys got caught smoking synthetic weed, the kind that utterly reeks and will fuck you up internally, in the school toilet right next to the biology rooms, where the biology teacher had just got out of being a drug officer in the Met. When asked if they smoked cannabis in the toilets, apparently one of them, he was new to the school and didn't speak much English, said no, I only smoked weed. My high school guidance counselor fucked a science teacher's wife and everyone knew about it. They got a divorce. Both teachers still work at the same school to this day, and students will never ever let it go. The story has been handed down from year to year. The caretaker killed 2 local girls and hid them in the school. He tried using the clay kiln to burn them. He later dumped them a few miles away. We had 2 teachers arrested for secretly recording kids in separate incidents. Our woodshop teacher had a low-angle camera on the floor pointing up towards the seats, and also would slide an iPad out from under his desk when girls would walk up to it. He let a student borrow his flash drive, who found the evidence. Then our speech teacher was caught hiding a camera underneath the sink in one of the private bathrooms that special education used. My high school had some fights that for some reason managed to make the local news, and the principal's words about it were broadcasted as well. She was pissed and talked loudly in a passive-aggressive manner over the announcements the next morning, repeating our school's mission statement over and over, ending the broadcast with record that. Record that became a bit of a meme around the school after that, and the school seems to have lightened up about the situation. Since because the journalism team shirts have record that written across the back. A girl in my year lied about having a sexual relationship with a teacher, in gross detail might I add. We all knew that she was straight up crazy and was making it up, but the school board obviously had to take it very seriously, and the teacher was fired. Worst part was that the teacher's wife was also a teacher at the school, and so, even though she wasn't fired, she pretty much had to leave her job as well. The school board eventually figured out the girl was lying and offered both teachers their positions back, but they both declined. A girl died in the pool during an event at the school. The swim teacher was blamed and was prosecuted. The girl who died was at my sister's class. Both were 7 at the time. That happened over 10 years ago, but the parents haven't had another child since. She was their only kid. There was a male and female high school pet teacher that essentially shared an office. They always got along really well, and kids would always joke that we were dating. We were just dumb kids, so we never really thought anything of it. After a couple years, they both started acting weird around each other, and there were rumors that he left his wife and kids for this pet teacher. This wasn't actually true though. What actually happened was they added on a bedroom to their house and the pet teacher moved in. The kids pretty much just had 2 moms and everyone got along wonderfully. It was strange for about a year, and then it was business as usual. I guess they are going on about 15 years strong. Some guy jokingly wrote, if I won't get a B for this, I'm going on a rampage. On his English test fast forward 15 minutes, a police response unit of 12 stormed the classroom and fucking arrested the shit out of him, without being brutal, but it still was quite frightening for deterrence reasons I guess. I went to a small Christian high school that also had a middle and elementary school on the grounds. The principal of the high school had a child that was in my grade. One day he comes over the intercom and announces that he's stepping down from his position. He then goes on to talk about how he and the female gym coach had been having an emotional affair for the last few months. This announcement goes through every speaker in all 3 schools. I remember everyone in my class looking over at his daughter who had a look of complete surprise on her face. From what I gathered, this was the first time she was hearing about all of this. Shortly after, the gym teacher also left her position, but the most interesting part? The gym teacher had no idea this was going on. She was just doing her job and thought she was friends with everyone. The principal read more into their relationship and decided to go to the church with it, and they made this decision. The gym teacher left her job out of shame and had to spend a lot of time explaining to her husband what exactly was going on. In my senior year, a group of friends, who were goth before goth was really a thing, experienced a tragedy when one of the friends accidentally killed the other. The friend who caused the accident took his life a few weeks later. This touched off a wave of suicides at my school, 5 in total, over the next 3 months. Everyone's favorite teacher was in fact banging that student he always hung out with, who would sit in his lap and would visit him after she graduated. They could not have been any more obvious. Someone created a fake Facebook profile for our principal. He was commenting realistically on teachers' pages, but the context never lined up. Nice to see you last weekend, Ms. Brown. Then once he had everyone as friends, he started subtly roasting kids, hahaha. He accessed the account from the computer lab and was never caught. He was my friend's brother. At the French-speaking school, some students got suspended because of the song they sang at a talent show. The issue the school had with the song is that it was in English. The students decided to do a sit-in and not go to class in protest of the suspension. Once it hit the news, it reignited a lot of French vs English sentiments throughout the whole town. I recently learned that principal of a school I used to go to got fired. I was kinda glad, because he was a dickhead. The reason he got fired? After communism was abolished in Poland apparently, if you wanted to have administrative job you had to sign a document that said you didn't work with communists. Recently it came to light that he in fact did work with communists. There were 2 teachers at my school who were in their late 20s early 30s who were married. The husband cheated on her with another teacher in her late 40s. Their affair was known by basically everyone. They were even caught in the same car after a school excursion by passing students. They were on the same seat. Eventually the wife found out, and her office was right next to the mistress apparently, and they moved them to opposite ends of the teacher offices. Also, the husband and wife kept teaching at my school for the entire time I was there, and the husband wound up engaged to his mistress. Apparently the principal was totally on the wife's side, and she got days off to prepare for court whilst the husband didn't. How do nearly all the students know all this? Apparently teachers like gossiping as much as students. I'll preface this by saying I went to a private Christian school in Mississippi, which is a scandal in itself. When I was in the 6th or 7th grade, one of our coaches got fired and arrested for sleeping with a girl underage. Problem was her mom found the messages from him to her, and she denied it all. He is still in jail to my knowledge and she transferred schools. There was another coach doing the same thing and he just left our school. A few years later at a basketball game we were talking to some friends from that school about the whole situation, and it turns out the coach that left was now coaching at the school we were playing. We unintentionally got him to leave that school as well. Runner up, a girl got pregnant her senior year and was not allowed to come to classes, but instead had to sit in the PA room and listen to her classes over the speaker and PA system. It was cruel and unusual, and her classmates had a sit-in to allow her to walk during graduation. High school that I went to as a student. The year I graduated, the gym teacher, who was also the girls' basketball coach and always had the rumors of did he fuck so and so, was promoted to assistant principal. I returned from college 4 years later to work there as a tar, and the gym teacher / app is being transferred to another school because he was caught fucking a guidance counselor, both of them married. They were caught by a school janitor while doing it in her office after hours. We had a few actually. The biggest one was a huge fiasco where some news stations across the US thought it would be worth covering. Every year at the first game each school in our district plays against each other in football. The bands trade a food basket of some kind. Well, one game our school gives a predominantly black school in our school district a fruit basket that contained a small watermelon. It by far wasn't the defining feature of the basket and wasn't meant as anything, just a member of the basket. Well, the band after the game was eating from the basket and a parent saw the watermelon and freaked out, calling our school racist for giving their school a watermelon. She ended up calling a bunch of news channels and they came and reported on it. In the end, all of the kids who gave the basket lost all of their scholarships for college for the next fall, and some even had their offer of admission taken away. All because a mom thought a heartfelt gift was racist. Edit. To those searching and finding the story online. There was a pack of watermelon gum in the fruit basket with other packages of gum and candy. Just clarifying that, while there was more to the story, there was also more not told. I just simplified it a little.